Hey guys, MCU Collector here with the final video in the Hasbro Marvel Legends series Captain Marvel Wave KREE Sentry Build-A-Figure. This is the video for the Build-A-Figure itself, the KREE Sentry. So I'm very excited to build this because you go through all the figures of Wave and then comes the excitement of putting the bonus figure together. Whether we end up liking it or not, that's a whole different story, but you go through everything, get all the figures, you spend all that money, you get a figure, you want to at least put it together and see what it's all about. Maybe not everyone, but in my case, I do. I'm curious. I want to see. Plus, I'm a completist. I have to have all the Marvel Legends. So here, my son put all these pieces together. He was like, can I put it together and make it look like something? I'm like, sure, go ahead. This is what he came up with. So pretty awesome. He's 8 years old, so I like when he kind of gets involved and stuff. Here in the background, you can see all of the figures from the Wave. I will do a ranking a little bit later in the video, but first, let's build this guy and see how big he is and see what the figure is all about. So here, let's start with the torso piece. Always start with the head. We'll just ball peg, just pop that on. It just kind of forces down. You don't really hear that click or that pop. Let's put the legs on there. Aye. Okay. We really have to kind of force it on there. You can see he's going to be pretty tall and out of frame. Let's get the other leg on there. I think it's on there pretty good. Let's get the arms on there. Okay, that makes more sense. This other arm. Okay, and there is the KREE Sentry Build-A-Figure. Oh, wait, let's put that arm. Okay, and there it is. Not a bad figure. Not a great figure. It's a decent figure. First Build-A-Figure of 2019 for me. Yeah, it's okay. I really like the metallic color on it. It's really good. It shines. It really sticks out. But other than that, there's just not really a whole lot to it. Before we take a closer look at it and then compare it with some other Build-A-Figures as far as the size, let's take a look at the articulation. So the head can look side to side. There's a hinge on there, but it's a little bit difficult to kind of work. Can look up. Can get it to look down slightly and then side to side. There is no pivot motion in there at all. These shoulders are very weird and they really stick out. It doesn't look so bad on camera, but if you're looking like at the top, you see the open part of the hinge, so you can rotate it so the arm goes out that much. And you have to be careful of the way you work it because these pieces here to the sculpt kind of get caught, so you have to really work it in there. So it's kind of weird. It's hidden and it's real stiff, but there is a swivel there at the upper bicep. You get a single elbow, which that is all you're going to get on that elbow. But it goes back a little bit, a little hyperextended. Oh, maybe that's just the hand. So single elbow, not the greatest. The hand has a wrist swivel and a little bit of a hinge, so you can move it in that much. You're not going to move it back because you have this gauntlet piece there. Same goes for the other side. There's no ab crunch, but you get a diaphragm joint that works great. Look at that range of motion in this guy. Look at that side pivot. That is some great motion there. As far as backing, you can get him to do that. Crunching forward, you get that much. So not as much forward, but that side-to-side pivot is awesome. I think in some of the promo shots, you know, they really show how you could take advantage of some of that side pivot on the diaphragm. So that's really good. The leg joints go out very wide, so that's great. He can kick forward that far. He can actually go back all the way as well. So great motion in the hips and the legs. There is the upper thigh cut where the leg connects inside there, and it's nice how the sculpt kind of comes down around it, like the way it when they do that. Double jointed knee, that works out very well actually. There's no boot cut of any kind, but you do get a hinged foot that goes down all the way, up only slightly because of the way it's sculpted there at the calf, and then the way the boot or the foot itself is sculpted. So not a whole lot up. There is a little bit of ankle pivot, but the sculpt of this round part here at the ankle hinders that pivot. It gets right in the way. You might be able to, yeah, you don't want to force it, but that is really going to get in the way of some good ankle pivot. But it moves a little bit. It's there. So there's actually some really good articulation in this guy. So that is pretty awesome. Now let's take a closer look at the figure. Okay, so there is the head sculpt. Not a whole lot to it. It's just got a lot of nice sculpted detail to it. But the head looks kind of cheesy. It almost looks like he has a bowl haircut like one of the Three Stooges. You let me know which one of the Three Stooges it is, because I really honestly don't know. But that's what it reminds me of. You can see it's perfectly even around. And it's actually kind of sharp. And it looks kind of goofy. But I'm sure it's comic accurate. And I believe it's more of a modern look with a little bit of a classic appeal to it, and definitely the classic color. So the sculpt of it does look really good. You can see all the details and how they sculpt it. It's all very nice. All the line work that they do throughout the figure, again, looks really good. Here on those hip joints, what I was telling you about, you know, the leg goes into it a little bit, so you have this all kind of sculpted down. That looks really good. And then that metallic silver with the blue hue, the metallic purple throughout the legs and the feet, the sculpt, again, it looks very good. I really like all the sculpted detail in it. Even looking at the back of the figure, all the hinges and everything are that same color, so that they put in the effort there. No paint really on the back, but the sculpt looks all very nice. Like you got there, it looks like it could be jet packs or something there. I think those look really good. And going throughout the figure, yeah, and then there's a little spot right there that's actually painted in that silver color, so I'm not sure why they did one little tiny spot there. So they actually had to put in the effort to paint that neck piece and then that right there. But yeah, overall it looks pretty good. It's not a terrible figure. Not the one that people have really been screaming about, but it does look pretty good. Now let's compare it to some of the other Build-A-Figures that are probably about similar in size. Okay, and here is the KREE Sentry Build-A-Figure next to both the Monster Venom Build-A-Figure and the Apocalypse Build-A-Figure. So this is kind of a battle of the metallic colors. We got a lot of metallic blue, some metallic purple, or I guess shiny purple. I don't even know how to describe that. And then a super metallic purple. And as you can see, taller than the Monster Venom, but not as bulky, and about the same size, just slightly taller than Apocalypse. So you could see that it's a decent sized Build-A-Figure, and a lot of complaints with Build-A-Figures is that it's too small. You know, they choose like Okoye or Mantis or Jubilee, and then they're small Build-A-Figures, and the people aren't fans of that. For me personally, I don't mind it as much because I view the Build-A-Figure as a bonus figure. And yes, usually Hasbro will use that Build-A-Figure concept as a way to get the larger figures out to us. That's not the set rule of thumb where they absolutely have to abide by that. That's not how it works. It truly is a bonus figure. Whether you guys agree with me or not, that's just my opinion on how I view it. So for me, size isn't as important. It's usually, for me, it's usually character choice that is more important for me. And then usually if it's a character I don't care for, I just hope that it's a well executed figure. And the KREE Sentry, it's okay. It's, you know, it's definitely not my favorite Build-A-Figure. And based on the Build-A-Figures that we know are coming, such as, what do we have? I still have M'Baku, but that's a MCU figure. I'm going to love that one. We have the Wendigo figure. That's going to be a pretty good one. We have the, what's the guy's name? Caliban. Caliban's probably going to be my least favorite Build-A-Figure of the year. Unless it blows me away, but this one will probably be the second to last Build-A-Figure of the year, unless it's a terrible year for Build-A-Figures for 2019, which I doubt. But I know that this guy's probably going to be towards the bottom of my list, but he is a good size. Let's do, whoops, there goes Venom. You can see back to back that the KREE Sentry stands about 1/4 of an inch taller than Apocalypse, so it's a good size. But that's the Build-A-Figure. You guys let me know if there's anything you want to know about the Build-A-Figure down in the comments below. Let me get these guys out of the way and let's go through a ranking of the wave. Okay, here we have the entire wave, all 7 figures of the wave, and the 8th figure being the Build-A-Figure. So I'm going to go through my ranking on how it is. If I'm going to rank, I usually don't include the Build-A-Figure in a rank. I'm not going to do that, but I'll show you where I would place him if I would. My number 1 figure actually goes to the regular Captain Marvel figure. At first I was going to think it was going to be the yon-rogg or Star Force Commander or mar-vell or whoever the hell he is. But I'm actually going to go with the Captain Marvel figure because I think the figure looks great. And we get the unmasked or the unhelmeted head and the helmeted head. If the yon-rogg figure would have come with an unhelmeted head, he definitely would have been my number 1. It's still a great figure. I really like the way it looks. But Captain Marvel is going to take the top spot, and rightfully so in her own wave. One thing on my figure, though, that I didn't catch during my video is I have a little bit of a QC problem here. There's a huge indent in her right leg, and another viewer actually pointed that out to me. And I checked. It's not the sculpt itself. Because the other Captain Marvel figure does not have this huge indent. There's a little curvature on the side of that thigh right above the knee, but this one's definitely more indented than it should be. Now, I don't know if that's just going to be mine or if there was a certain production run where that happened or what the case may be, but keep an eye on your right leg to see how yours might look. So Captain Marvel is my number 1, which means that yon-rogg is my number 2 figure. Number 3 is the Nick Fury figure. The fact that it is a brand new mold is great. I really like the goose accessory. The fact that he can hold it like that, that's pretty cool. Number 4 goes to genis-vell. It's an awesome looking figure, but man, that head and that neck, it's just terrible. But really good looking figure. Number 5 goes to Talos, the Scroll. I wish it was higher, but the Loki figure of all figures, still looks pretty good, but definitely not a great figure. Number 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 6 goes to the other Captain Marvel figure. It's just not a needed figure, not necessary at all. I don't even care about the goose accessory. The jacket's cool, sure, but we don't need it. And the fact that we get another unmasked head, which doesn't make sense because it has the wavy hair and it doesn't even look like Brie Larson, is a pointless figure. But that's not even the worst figure of the wave. The worst figure of the wave is that gray gargoyle. And that's only my opinion. I know a lot of people will not agree with me because they like comic figures and they like obscure characters and they want the nostalgia from the Iron Man animated series, or just they really enjoyed it. Not even nostalgia because maybe they like that character from the comic. It's a no from me. I don't enjoy it. It's just a weird one. I think it's very oddly placed in this wave as well, and I think that's because 2019 is going to be kind of stacked in the Avengers waves with movie figures. We know Ebony Maw, we know Corvus Glaive, we know Shuri. As far as the movie figures, who knows what else is going to be coming out. Can't wait for New York Toy Fair to see what hopefully Hasbro will be able to reveal quite a bit. I'm sure it all kind of depends on Disney, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. So, Great Gargoyle, it's just oddly placed. So that's my 1 through 7. Now, if I were to include the Build-A-Figure, I would probably put that Build-A-Figure at number 6 before that Captain Marvel. So then it would be Captain Marvel, yon-rogg, Nick Fury, genis-vell, Talos, then the Build-A-Figure, then the other Captain Marvel with bomber jacket, then Grey Gargoyle. Just because character-wise I'm not familiar with what the KREE Sentry is or anything about it. Let me know down in the comments below any info on the KREE Sentry. I think that might be tied to Captain Marvel's origins in the comics too, if I'm not mistaken, if I heard something or read something correctly. You guys let me know down in the comments below. What do you think of my ranking? How would you rank this wave? I want to know. I'm curious. Hit me down in the comments below and let me know what you guys think. Hit that thumbs up if you guys like the video. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, thank you for watching. Happy New Year, everyone. Here's to a great 2019.